We do not all have the same 24 hours in a day. This is going to be a long one, but walk with me because about 5 minutes ago, a bunch of ideas just clicked in my head that I need to talk to you about. So I've gotten to a place with my sessions where I've started to see recurring clients, and people aren't needing me for what I thought they would. I expected that I would be talking with people about real-time problems in their relationship, in their life, helping them resource with books, podcasts, and just insight to overcome obstacles, but that's not the case. What my recurring clients are booking me for is actually a myriad of sort of infrastructural support and accountability. And let me tell you what I mean. Whether people are navigating a breakup, whether people are doing a career change, what they're really looking to me for is to meet with them weekly or even twice a month, once a month, to keep them on track, to hold to-do lists, to do background research, and to essentially walk the path with them for whatever they're doing. And this got me thinking about the concept of network impoverishment. Now, if you're not aware, network impoverishment is a leftover from institutional racism that also is a characteristic of classism. And what it describes is a phenomenon where essentially folks who are low income, largely in segregated communities, do not have networks, as in their immediate community, where they are able to access resource, right? The opposite of this would be network enrichment, which is like, we think about that as nepotism, right? So another characteristic of network impoverishment is that when people need to solve problems, right? When people need to find solutions to things that go wrong, instead of pooling resource that is abundant, generous, and solutions oriented, they often pool acuity or vulnerability. Let me give you an example. So let's say that your car breaks down or you end up in a tight spot financially, and you go to everyone in your community and you're like, hey, what can I do? I need to come up with $300 now. Some of the best options, which are still terrible and predatory, would be to go to a payday advance, right? A really predatory lending system that targets marginalized people, poor people, Black and brown folks, and creates these incredibly high interest rates that often leave people in debt. Another option would be to work an underground economy to make that $300 doing something illegal, and a myriad of other options. But largely the resources that are pooled when someone is in network impoverishment are things that actually further endanger them or put them in a more vulnerable position than when they started off. And this is a result of the fact that if you're experiencing poverty, it is most likely that every single person you know is also experiencing poverty. So they're using poverty tools to solve poverty problems, which continues to leave people in poverty, right? So what does this have to do with the fact that we do not all have the same 24 hours in a day? Walk with me. Well, I started thinking about the people that are booking recurring sessions with me, and I thought about what they were really buying, right? What are they actually purchasing? Because what I'm offering isn't necessarily tangible. You cannot touch it with your hands. You cannot see it. And I realized what they're actually buying back is their time. And it made me realize that what wealthy people have the ability to do is to purchase back their time. And I'm going to tell you how they do that because I've just spent an absurd amount of time researching this and my mind is blown. So we have this idea that everyone is working hard to make their money, that hard work is the cornerstone of success. If you're watching my content, I'm sure you already know that that is an absolute and complete myth. However, there is still this lingering idea that when it comes down to being human, right, that we all get the same 24 hours and we all kind of have to do our best work to get things done. But when it comes to wealth, that's not true. People are able to essentially purchase the most robust and resourced community to run their life. They have, at the most high degree of operation, infrastructure for almost every function of their lives. Imagine what your day would look like if you had a team of people that woke you up, that had already made your schedule, that were taking care of your housekeeping, your childcare, your garden, that were making sure that your bills were paid, that were moving around your finances for you, all behind the scenes. That were booking your doctor's appointments, your travel. Whenever you had a question or needed an insight, you were able, instead of having 50,000 tabs up on your computer to research the issue yourself and wondering if the information was credible, if you had access to the most elite and expert minds on that subject, that you could field your question, get an answer, and deliver the result that you needed. This is what wealthy people live. I want us to think about that in terms of community as well. We are community-oriented animals. Most of us have had to learn over time, if we have it all, how to be self-motivated. Self-motivation is one of the hardest things that almost everyone I've ever met in my life struggles with. How do I self-start? Wealthy people don't have to. If you are hungover, if you are tired, if you forgot your alarm clock, you have a team of people that are paid to make sure that you are out of bed, that your breakfast is made, that you are moving from point A to point B throughout your day. Additionally, this system of delegation manages and delegates itself, meaning that if you have a set of responsibilities, right, for your company, for your business, right? Think Kim Kardashian, think Jeff Bezos, but even smaller level wealthy people. You are only handed in the course of a single day the essential actions that pertain to you that have already largely been synthesized, processed, and managed to be as simple as possible for you to execute on. Now, for working class people, for most regular people in general, we are both the clients and the managers of our own lives, as in we reap the benefits of our planned vacations, of the apartment that we rent, of the furniture we buy, but we are also responsible for implementing and delivering on those processes, right? We have to plan that vacation. We have to organize and pay those bills. We have to budget. We have to do all of the work to also be serviced by the labor that it takes to run and operate our lives. We're operating and we're living at the same time. Now, the ironic and enraging thing to me about this, right, is that wealth culture, billionaire culture, hustle culture, they tell us that we have to be able to do everything on our own in order to be successful. We have this concept of self-made, right? We have this idea, even within our communities, that we don't owe each other anything, that we don't have to support each other, that to be an adult is to set your own routines, to manage your own routines, to set up, maintain, run, and operate the infrastructure of our own lives autonomously without any outside help, and that to need outside help is actually a sign of weakness. Meanwhile, the wealthiest, most quote-unquote successful people in the world have a large interwoven and paid essentially network of community. And they have essentially outsourced what would be 10 hours of your day, 12 hours of your day. Fuck it, I'll say it. The entire 24 hours of your day to this network. So these people are able to run 6 days, possibly 10 days, possibly of labor for a working class person within one 24-hour period because of how much support they have. And of course, I can hear the devil's advocates saying that a billionaire has more to do, but functionally, do they have more to do than a person that works an 8-hour shift at a gas station, plus manages child care, plus goes to a night school? Those are the same 24 hours in a day, right? Where all those things to get done, task by task, item by item. Is that actually true? I don't think so. I think one of the deeply insidious things about wealth and wealth culture in general is its ability to invisibilize labor and then purport a sense of self-sustained, self-made success in hard work, to grift and sell this mythology and make it seem like the lifestyle that they're living is actually significantly more accessible than it is, while convincing people that they just simply need to get better and stronger and more resilient at working and self-motivating individually, while actively disincentivizing us from activating these sorts of networks within our own communities. It makes me go brain explosion to think about what it would be like to have a collection of people in a college environment that was like the hangover crew, where the folks that don't drink would go around and wake up the folks that did. And then maybe in return, there was like a study crew where every single person that was doing really well in classes would go around and knock the doors and be like, I know you guys don't want to study, but let's go. This act of community as momentum through task, beyond a text message, but to literally physically show up and get things done together, is a concept that I just feel is so glaringly absent in our worlds, in our lives, unless you live in an embedded family unit where these roles are designed very intentionally, because most of the time, all of that labor ends up following on the domestic caretaker, which is largely a woman. My brain is blowing up about this. I would love to know what you think about it. Please let me know.